Hi, everybody. Al Bernstein here with another one of my quick hits. And on this one, I'm going to take a look ahead at the year 2017 in boxing. Now, a few days ago, I tweeted that I thought 2017 would be a pivotal year for the sport of boxing for a variety of reasons. And I said in that tweet that I was very optimistic that 2017 would be a good year for the sport. I'm optimistic because I believe that good matches are already around the books, and I think that the boxing people kind of get the idea that 2016, while it started out in the proper fashion, had more than its share of glitches, and that at this juncture, it's a pivotal time for the sport of boxing because it needs to make sure it solidifies its base of fans and utilizes good matches to get the mainstream media in the United States to cover the sport a little bit more and builds on the success that boxing is having internationally. How will it do that? Well, it can't do that by cutting down the number of champions, which it should. That isn't going to happen. It can't do that by cutting down the number of weight classes, which it should, but that isn't going to happen. The way boxing can do it, and the only way it can do it, is by making good matches and doing its very best to promote those matches, to market them, and make sure that people know they exist and know where they can find them. Well, part one of the equation has begun. And let's take a look at some of the matches that already are on the books for 2017 that on paper look like they should be special. It starts on January 14th. In America, in a fight in which Badu Jack takes on an excellent fighter from the UK, James DeGale. They are both champions. They are the two best fighters in the 168-pound division, and it's a match that has been built over the last year or two, and it will be held on January 14th in New York, and I think it could be one of the best matches that we've seen in quite a while. On January 28th, a rematch of one of the best fights of the year 2016. Carl Frampton putting his title on the line, the title that he won from Leo Santa Cruz. They will fight on January 28th in Las Vegas. That, to me, is a can't-miss match because their styles dictate that it'll be a terrific fight. On March 4th, a match that the welterweight division has been waiting for a while, and it's made, and this is the point. These are the kind of fights boxing needs to make. Not next year, not later, right now. Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman will battle for a welterweight title. Danny Garcia, a superb fighter at 140, has performed well as a 147-pounder, but isn't really, I think, proven to most people's satisfaction that he is the elite 147-pounder. Keith Thurman believes he is, and he would like to prove that against Garcia. That's going to be a terrific fight, to be sure. Gennady Golovkin has not yet gotten his fight with Canelo Alvarez. However, the next best thing will happen. He will fight Daniel Jacobs. That fight is already signed. It is two middleweight champions unifying titles, and I think it's a fight that people will want to see. And hopefully later in the year, depending on what happens in that fight, whether it's Danny Jacobs or Gennady Golovkin winning, I hope that Canelo Alvarez, who is now stepping up in weight to fight Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., it appears, at 165, and so if he can fight somebody at 165, he can certainly fight at 160 for a world title. I hope that Canelo Alvarez will, in fact, make good on his promise to fight Canelo if he should win, or excuse me, Triple G if he should win, or Danny Jacobs. In the heavyweight division has really blossomed in the last year or so, and a division that was once not as interesting as it might be because of the domination by the Klitschkos and the lack, it seems, of good numbers of contenders and exciting young fighters is changing for the better. Anthony Joshua, the exciting and talented young Brit who has a portion of the world championship, will take on one of those Klitschko's, Vladimir Klitschko, on April 29th, probably before somewhere between 70 and 80,000 people at Wembley Stadium, which is astonishing. And it will be a match that will tell us in some degrees where the heavyweight division is headed. Will Joshua be able to knock off the old champion, the former champion who lost his title, of course, to Tyson Fury, or will Klitschko be able to regain glory? If Joshua wins, it could set up a fight with the American heavyweight champion. He has a version of the title, and that is Deontay Wilder, who after injuries is getting back in the ring. He'll have a fight early in the year. And then Wilder has made it clear that he wants to fight the winner of Klitschko Joshua in this coming year. And he should, and they should fight him because boxing can't wait to make matches now. They have to make them. The sport has to make the matches fans want to see. I know that's an often heard refrain. And I'm not one that's been that critical of the sport because I think they have made very good matches and sometimes that gets ignored. But now is the time in each weight division to make these great matches. And so I want to see, as we all do, Deontay Wilder, if he should win in his fight against the winner of Joshua and Klitschko. There's another player in the heavyweight division, by the way. There's several other players, but one that I'm excited about is Joseph Parker, New Zealand heavyweight, who has a very good skill set and has matriculated through the ranks to now where he is ready to face one of these top heavyweights. And you hope that it would be this year. The other man who is a figure in the heavyweight division, Luis Ortiz, who is now handled by Matchroom Boxing in the UK, is also in line for a world title shot against someone. I'd love to see Parker and Ortiz to face each other. I think that would be fun. But whatever the case, the heavyweight division appears primed to give us in 2017 some very, very good fights. There is a huge amount of talent in between 122 and 135 pounds in the sport of boxing. And we are starting to see with matches like Frampton Santa Cruz and other fights, we're seeing these fighters face each other. And I think that's going to continue over the course of 2017. And right in the middle of it is the man who I honestly believe is probably the best pound for pound fighter in the world today, Vasily Lomachenko. Lomachenko is a great technician, but I think he's also an interesting and exciting fighter to watch. And I believe that he is going to end up being the guy that people are kind of chasing a little bit. And I think it's likely he'll fight Orlando Salido in a rematch, which would be a very good fight. He lost that fight to Orlando Salido. Very close decision. Salido was guilty of some roughhouse tactics that some believe should have been penalized more than they were. But Lomachenko now taking him on probably in a rematch. And then I think later in the year we can look at it for him to be in a mega fight against somebody in the 130 or even 135-pound division. So that's exciting. And by the way, Mikey Garcia returning in a title match early in the year at 135 as well. There's lots of good competition all the way up through 135. Last year, one of the moments that created something good and something not so good was one of the most anticipated matchups when Andre Ward fought Sergey Kovalev. The fight was an interesting one and in spots exciting and well fought, but many people had an issue with the decision in which Andre Ward won a very close decision over Sergey Kovalev. There's a rematch clause in their contract, and it is very likely we will see Ward Kovalev 2 during the course of 2017, which I fervently hope we do, because I think that will sometimes those controversial decisions, if they're not taken care of by a rematch, or in some cases a trilogy, that's when boxing fans have an unsatisfied feeling, and dissatisfaction is kind of the way I would describe how boxing fans felt a little bit about 2016, which may have been, maybe saying dissatisfied is an overstatement because there were some excellent moments in the year, but I don't think boxing fans felt like they had delivered to them what they need from the sport. If all the things happen that I just talked about, and a lot more, because there are so many other fighters that I don't have time to talk about, and that we know great matches can be made, and some that are already talked about, like Anthony Crolla and Jorge Linares is a perfect example. There are many fights that are going to be made in 2017. It is essential for the sport that the promoters, the matchmakers, the managers, and the fighters understand there is some urgency. Again, I'm not a gloom and doom guy. It's not, oh, the sky is falling. There's urgency for them to make fights that matter and that are good for boxing fans. And as I said, when you look at that early schedule that's on tap, there are some superb fights there. And I hope that continues over the course of 2017. I hope you all have a great start to 2017. And we'll be continuing on right here with you on our Quick Hits video. It gives me a chance to say thanks to Dan Parks, the producer of these and our Hangouts, who's done a wonderful job. Delightful man to work with, and does a great job on these shows. And I want to thank him for his efforts as we head into the year 2017.